Hello guys, so welcome to my channel again. So in today's tutorial we'll be discussing how we can create a temperature conversion program. So I'm having a sample, so this is what we'll be building. So we'll be building this temperature conversion project whereby we will be inserting temperature, then you have to select whether to convert it from Fahrenheit to Celsius or whether to Celsius to Fahrenheit. So if we convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius, just simply click on convert and the temperature displays negative 11.1 degrees Celsius. If you want to convert it, you can still reset it. Again, you can decide to input manually, then convert it from Celsius to Fahrenheit. You can convert. So the display is 255.2 in Fahrenheit. So 255.2 Fahrenheit. You can reset also. You can decide to convert zero temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius, which is negative 17.8. Also, you can do the same for this, converting zero temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit, which is 32 Fahrenheit. You can reset. So this is what we'll be building with this shadow effect, this color code here. As you can see, whenever we try to convert anything without inputting any data or without even selecting or checking these radio buttons, there's a message: select unit for conversion. So you should go and select the unit before converting. So this is what we'll be building. So let's go ahead and do so. Open, ensure you have a Visual Studio. Ensure you have a Visual Studio installed in your PC. Then I have a folder here. I've created a folder. It's here. I've created a folder for our project. This is our folder, temperature conversion project. So let's go ahead and open this folder within the Visual Studio. So navigate, let's navigate to a file, then open a folder, then select the folder. Just go to local disk D, temperature conversion, then select folder, and this is our folder. Let's increase the screen size. So here I have two images. This is images that contain the formula. So image 1, you can see here, it contain a formula for how you can convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit. This is the formula we'll be using. Also I have another image here. This is converting Fahrenheit to Celsius. So they are different. As you can see, the one we are adding 32 from Celsius to Fahrenheit, another one we are subtracting Fahrenheit from 32. So this will be the formula that we're going to apply for this project. So let's proceed and start building our project. So the next thing we'll do, let's close this image. On this empty space, let's right click, open new file. Let's create our file, the index.html. Hit enter. Also we'll need to style our work, so we'll need a style CSS. Also we'll need to apply JavaScript for conversion. So we'll apply a script. Apply script.js. So this is what all we need. these three files: the index, style, and the JavaScript. So let's go ahead. Let me increase size so that you can see. So first of all, let's now start coding. So let's generate a random code. Shift exclamation, we click enter. We'll name this as temperature converter. Conversion. Then let's link our CSS. So we'll link our CSS, this style. Also, the next thing we'll do, let's go ahead and below our body tag, closing body tag, let's link our script. Then within the script, we'll add a source. Then the source will be script. So make sure you have linked these two. So within the body tag, we'll create a form. So let's get rid of this. Then within the form body tag, we'll create an h1 element. This h1 element will contain our heading. Temperature conversion should be conversion, not this way, should be S. Also, we'll need an input type whereby we can input either the Celsius or the temperature or the Fahrenheit. So we'll need an input. So we'll simply type an input, and then this input will be a type of number. We need to give it an ID. Just name it input, an ID of input, or let's give it my input. Then we'll need to assign it an initial value. We need to assign it a value. The value will be 0. Let's add a line break. Then also it's good to ensure you have a live server. You have installed a live server so that you can able to see the changes that you are making within your HTML. So let's click here to go to live server, or you can also go right click here and go with open with the live server. So we'll do that. Let's minimize our screen. So far this is what we have. Let's minimize it. Also, let's minimize this one so that we will see what the changes that we are making within our HTML will reflect here. So this is the value that we have already assigned here. So this is our final input. So let's go ahead. Let's proceed. So the next thing we'll need to do, we'll need to create another input. This input will have two inputs, whereby the user will check or select the type of conversion you want to do. Maybe if you want to convert something like Fahrenheit to Celsius, you'll just check that button. Or if you want to check to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, you'll just need to check that radio button. So within our form, we'll need another input. So we'll need another input here. So simply type input. This input will be a type of radio button. It will be radio. We'll need to give it an ID. So the ID will be converting from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So we'll give it to Celsius as an ID. Then we'll need to give this a class name. So give it a name. Give it anything, any name of your choice. Just give it my name. Then we'll need a label. We'll need label for this input. So we'll need a label. So this label will be, we'll use this ID. We'll copy this ID. I'll be using here. Also, we'll need to give it a class to belong to a class label. This class will enable us to design our CSS for every label that will be within the HTML. Then we'll need to give this a label. So we'll use Celsius. We're going to convert Celsius. Let's find an arrow. So press window. Sorry. Press window key and the greater bar, this one here. Press window on this to pop out this, so that you can select an arrow showing the direction to which you want to convert. So you'll be using this arrow. Be using that. Let's find something that is more better. See if there are other we can use. Let's type here arrow. Let's type arrow to see the type of arrow that we have. Let's close this. Yes, I'll be using this one. It's be looking good. So let's use this one. And we need to convert it from Fahrenheit. Should be Fahrenheit since it's to Celsius. So from Fahrenheit to Celsius. Let's save and see the changes. Yeah, not bad. It's good. So we'll copy this. Copy. And we'll add a line break. We'll paste this. Then we'll need to convert this one to Fahrenheit. just copy this. Also you'll need to copy this also, and let's paste it here. Then the label will be Celsius. Copy this, paste it here, then convert this to Celsius. That way. Also we'll add a line break. Add a line break here, so you can save to see Fahrenheit to Celsius, Celsius to Fahrenheit is good. Then the next thing we need to add two buttons: the submit, the convert button, and the reset button. So let's go ahead and do so. So you'll need a button. So we'll add a button. So this button will have a button type. It will have a type which will be button. It will have an ID which is to convert. Also it will have an on click function. Whenever user click a button, it should perform some action. So you'll have an on click function. This function will be to calculate. It will be a calculate function. Then a button name will be convert. That way. We'll need to copy this. We'll copy this and paste it here. Now we'll change this to reset. Need to create a button for reset. Also this will be resetting form. It will be reset form. Then it will be reset here. Let's save the changes. So we have two buttons, convert and the reset button with ID, these two ID. So we'll need to create another div within our form. Create a division here. So simply add a line break. Then we'll create a div. Create one div. This div will have an ID result. This will be for div for displaying our output within our form. So it will be displaying our output. So this is all HTML that we need. So let's go ahead and design. So make sure you have saved. Let's navigate to our CSS and start styling. So we need to select our form. So we'll select our form here. Select our form. Within our form we'll need to add a text alignment. Text alignment center. Text alignment center. We'll need to add maximum width of 400 pixels. We'll need to add also a margin. Margin will be auto. We'll need to add a background color for our form, and we'll have this color code HLS. We having 80, 41%, 50%, 41 for saturation, 50% for brightness. So that's color code. You can see. Then the next thing we'll need to add padding. We'll need to add padding for our form. Padding of 25 pixels. Also, we need to add box shadowing. So we'll add a box shadow. This box shadow will be of 10 pixels and for 10 pixels, 25 pixels, and we'll have this color code HLS. Zero, also 0% for saturation, and a brightness of around 25%. Then we'll need also to add border radius of 20 pixels and a height. Need to add a height of 400 pixels. It's like it's not affecting. So it has been linked. As you know, making changes. Select yellow green and see if it is making changes. Don't know why that color code was not picking. Use RHLs, and here we'll pass this saturation will be 81, 41, and a brightness of around 50% is okay, not bad. Also, this one is not changing. There's no box shadowing, so just go ahead and just try to color. So be using any color, then we'll try to change it to be an HLS. Then we'll be passing some parameter which is 0, 0. There should be 0% and also 0% here. Also this will be 25%. Let's save and see. Yeah, It's effective, as you can see, box shadowing, not bad. So let's go ahead and can see the body radius and the height also is cool. So the next thing we'll do, let's go ahead and select our body, and within our body let's have a background color of, use this color code. Let's select and then we use any color code here. Using this color code, then we'll pass some values. This one will be 0, 70, around 78, not bad. Then I'll be using 23 here. Let's see. You can see our background color. Our background color has changed. So let's proceed. Then we'll need to select our body. Within our body, we need to select our label. Label. This is our labels. They have a class label. So all of them have the same class name. So we'll design both of them. So come here and select label. And our label will need to add some CSS with a font size of, need to add a font size of 22 pixels. Also a font style of, be using italic. We need to add also some font family. Be using sans serif. Also we need to add a font width. We'll be having bold for this. So let's see. It's not bad. Now let's select our this text here where we input and design our input. So go ahead and select. So our input, which is my input, select this ID and copy. Then let's design. So we'll need to add some CSS also. We'll need the font size. We'll need the font size. Need the font size of around 22 pixels. Yeah, that one. Let's try to minimize to 20 and see. Yeah, at least not bad. Also we'll need some font style. Need to design a font style for input. For this one it will be italic. Also some font family. We'll be using sans serif. Also font width. Also we'll need a font, or can use, let's change this. I do love using MV Bolly, so let's change this to MV Bolly. Let's use MV Bolly here. MV Bolly, that's how it will look like. Also we'll need to add some margin bottom. We need to have a space between here, so we'll add a margin bottom of around 20 pixels. Also we'll need to add border. We need to add border within our input, so we'll add a border. So select the border, then we'll have, it will be of 2 pixels solid. With this color code, add a color for our border, so we'll be using HLS then we'll be passing 0. Saturation also will be using 0%, and our lightness will be using around 3%. So let's see, not bad. You can see our border. So the next thing also we need to add is a border radius. We'll be adding a border radius of around 8 pixels. Not bad. You can see our border radius. Also you need to add a font width. Add a font width. Just give it bold. Yeah, that way. You can see it's bold. So that's the only CSS that we need for our input. So let's go ahead and design. Let's go ahead now design our button. We'll need to design our button. So let's go ahead and do so. So let's select our button. Start by this one. Let's select this ID. Copy. So we'll need some CSS. We'll need to a font size for a button. Give it a font size. Font size of around 26 pixels. That way. We'll need also to add some padding of 10 pixels. 10 pixel top and bottom, 20 pixel left and right. Also we'll need to add a background color. Need to add background color for our button using this color code HLS, and we'll be passing have a 90 here. Also you'll have a saturation of around 65% and our lightness of around 71%. Let's see, not bad. So we need to add a color for button name. So we'll add a color. Be using this color code HLS. We'll be passing 0 with a saturation of around 3%, or let's make it 4, and a lightness of around 8%. So let's see, yeah, not bad. Also we'll need to add a border radius. Adding a border radius to smooth this corner, to smooth these sharp corners. A border radius of around 9 pixels. Let's see, not bad. Also we'll need to add some font family. I'll be using MV Bold. So MV Bold. Also you need to add a font style. I'll be using italic. Also you need to add margin. Let's add a margin. Add a margin top. Want to create space between this part, so we'll add a margin top. Have a margin top of 15 pixels. Also you'll need to have cursor to be pointer. Whenever we hover over convert button, it will change to pointer, so cursor should be pointer. Also we'll need to add a font weight. It will be bold, so we'll add a font weight of bold. And lastly we'll need to add a transition for our hover effect, but we'll add it later for our active class. We'll adding it later. So let's save this and see. It's not bad. You can see some padding here. So we'll do the same for reset button. So just go ahead here and select reset, control copy. So we'll apply the same CS. So we'll apply the same CS. We just need to change color. So we'll copy all this and paste here. Control save also, but we'll need to add some color. Also we'll need also to add color for background color and also color for text here. So let's give a color code of, let's give here a color code of 0. Be using 0 here. Also we'll need a color code. This will be around saturation of around 75 and around 61% for our lightness. Let's see, it's not bad. Also we need to add a color for this, but we can still leave it the way it is. Not bad, as you can see, it's quite good. So you can also leave that color that way, border radius and everything. So it's not bad. So the next thing we'll need to do, we'll need to add some margin between these two buttons so that we can have a space between. So we'll add a margin. Need to add a margin left of around, be using 10 pixels, margin left of 10 pixels. Yeah, can have a space. You can see it's looking good. So the next thing we need to do, we need to add some hover effects of our buttons. So we'll go ahead and add some hover effect. So let's select our convert button here, copy, and within here we'll add hover effect, have an hover. Then we'll need to have a background color. Whenever you hover our cursor point over here, it is changing color. Need to copy this. Let's paste it here, and we'll use a color code. Let's change this color code. Around 75, 65. Let's be using a brightness of around 41. Let's see. Not bad. As you can see, it's not bad. Also, we'll do the same for active. So whenever we click, it should change a color indicating that the button has been clicked. So we'll add an active class. Let's do the same here. Be adding an active. Then we'll using a background color of, using this color code. Be using 16. Let's use 16 here. 100% saturation. And brightness of around 50. Let's save and see. Whenever I click, as you can see, not bad. We'll need to add a transition. So let's add a transition here. Add a transition of, let's add a transition of 0.5 second. Ease out, ease in and out. Let's save that. Let's now see. Whenever you hover, then we click. Let's see. Let's try to minimize this to 0.3 seconds and see. As you can see, not bad. Let's make it 4. Not bad. Let's reduce brightness to 40. Let's see. Not bad. So the next thing we'll do, let's do the same for our reset button. Let's copy this and do it for the reset button. Having an over for reset. For reset button, we'll need to have this color code. So let's copy this. Be using this color code. Let's change this to 0. Also saturation of around 75 and lightness of around 41. Not bad. So let's see. It's not bad. So the next thing we'll need is add an active class. Let's close this and we'll add this color code. Whenever we click, so we'll have a color code of, let's change this to something like this color here. We're using this one. Brightness of around 65 for that one, and 32, around 32 or 31% for lightness. So let's see. Set it here 32. Sorry, we should add up an active, not hover, should be active class. So let's save and see. Yeah, need to add a transition. Also add here transition. Save. Not bad. So the next thing we'll need to select our H1 element. Come here. Need to select this H1 element here. This one. So we'll select an H1 element. We'll add a color. Give it a color of HLS. Be using this color code. 75% saturation and the lightness of around 19%. Let's see. Not bad. Let's increase this to 29 to make it more. No, let's make it 17. Here's the 17 to be more darker. Yeah, that way. Then we'll need to add a font family for our heading. Give it a font family of MB Bold. Then font style of, let's give it italic. and let's give the font size of around 30 pixels. We're using 30 pixels for font size. Let's see, it's quite cool. So the next thing we'll do, need to select our result, need to design our output here. So let's add some text here to see our changes. Let's say hello and save it. So this is our hello here. So let's design it. So let's select this ID. So we need to add a font family of MV Bowley. We need to add also a font style for our output, give it italic. Also we need to add some font size to increase our size of around 28 pixels. We need to add a color code. Need to add a color. Use some HLS value. Use this color code. Saturation of around 75% and a lightness of around 53%. And we'll need a font weight to be bold, using bold, and also a margin. Let's do some margin to give it some space. So we'll do a margin top of around 30 pixels. Let's save and see. As you can see, it's looking good. So this is all the CSS that we need. So let's go ahead and now apply some Java to enhance our function. Right now you can see if we select, there's nothing. So no change. Even if we reset, there's no changing. So we need to apply some JavaScript to enhance these changes. Whenever we select the temperature we want to convert, let's say from Fahrenheit to Celsius, if we select, we convert, it should output some results. Also if we click the reset button, this form should be reset. So let's go ahead and apply some JavaScript to enhance this form to be able to perform as we need or as we intend to do. So let's go ahead and apply some JavaScript. So remember to link your JavaScript file. So let's add here, let's declare some constant. So let's declare here some constant. Let's declare some content variable. So we need to get ID for this input. Also for this input we need also for this input and this input. These are the ID that we need. So let's go ahead and create constant. We need a constant for, let's start with my input. So I'm supposed to copy, then let's get element by ID. So document dot get element by an ID. We'll pass an ID of my input. Also the next thing, let's copy all this and paste 4 times. So let's paste it 4 times. Also we'll need to pick to Celsius our ID here. So ensure you copy these IDs. You want to get these details. last one we'll need is for results. Copy. That way. So let's ensure you have those. So the next thing, let's declare some variable here. Let's declare two variable. Let's declare temperature, and also we'll need another variable final result here. So let's define our function. Let's define this function here. Copy this function. So let's define our function. So function. So within our function, let's create some if conditions. Whenever this button is checked, if this button is checked, then it will perform the conversion of Fahrenheit to Celsius. Else it will perform this other function. Otherwise it will print some information that none of the button has been checked. So we need to use an if else statement to perform this. So let's create an if else. So we'll need an if to check which button has been checked. So we'll use to Fahrenheit. If to Fahrenheit dot is checked, it will need to perform. So if to Fahrenheit is checked, then we'll need to perform this conversion. We'll need to convert our temperature to Fahrenheit. We want to convert our temperature to Fahrenheit. So Celsius to Fahrenheit, we'll need to convert our temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Therefore, let's find the formula for that. As I said, I have two pictures here. This one is converting Celsius to Fahrenheit. So this is the formula for converting Fahrenheit to Celsius. So we'll be using this formula to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. So let's go ahead and do so. So declare this, we'll use this variable temperature is equals to number. Let's get this input. Whenever user input any value here, we will get this input and pass it here. Change this input to a number. So let's go ahead and do so. So we'll convert that input to a number. Convert that input to a number. The input is my input dot value. This will enable us to get the exact value. Convert this to number. Also, the next thing we'll need to convert this temp. Need to convert it to Fahrenheit. So temperature is equals to temp. Then we'll need to multiply our temp with 9 divided by 5 as the formula suggests. Let's close this. Then outside here we'll need to add 32. So then we need to convert at least this to one decimal place. So we'll use the final result. Copy this. We need the answer that you have already gotten. We'll convert it to one decimal place. So we'll convert this using the to fixed function. So convert temp dot to fixed function. We'll use to fixed function to one decimal place. Then we'll display our output. So we'll display our output using the text content. So we'll use the result. Copy this ID and be using this dot text content. Then we'll use some slanting string. We need to use a placeholder, so we'll use this slanting string. So within it will display our result. Then we'll use a placeholder and we'll pass in my final result, and then we'll need to add some symbol, forfeit symbol. So we'll add a forfeit symbol here. So press the window key and the greater button. Let's now come here and select, we need to select the forfeit symbol, so just select that. Also we'll need this one. Let's also copy that one, we'll need it somewhere, so let it stay that way. We'll need to copy it somewhere, then close this and let's save. So right now we should be able to convert this, so let's try and see. Let's add some value, convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. If we click convert, you can see we are able to get the output. So don't worry about this. I say I'll be using this somewhere for the next conversion of this, so there's no need of go back to the emojis to copy. So you can see I'm getting the result. If I convert 0 to that, I will still get the result. So let's go ahead and do the same for the Fahrenheit to Celsius. Now we want to convert to Celsius, so we'll just copy this and within our if paste, then we'll use an elif, use an else if is now, if this is now, if it is to Celsius is now been checked, then we'll need to convert some temperature variable this, so this will remain the same. The only need we need to change this formula, and for that we'll be converting temp, subtracting temp minus 32 as the formula suggests here. As the formula suggests, for Fahrenheit to Celsius, we'll be using this. So we'll subtract the input minus 32, then we'll be multiplying by 5 over 9. So let's go ahead and do so. So then let's multiply whatever we get by 5 out of 9. Let's add some bracket to separate these two. That way everything is cool. We'll leave this the way it is. Then we'll just need to get rid of this and also get rid of this. Sorry, that one. That's cool. We should be able to convert our Fahrenheit to Celsius. So we'll do the same. Let's save the change. And now let's try to convert 0 Fahrenheit to Celsius and see. We are getting output. Let's input some data here and convert. We're getting, so let's input something like 1000. Convert, you can see we're getting. So also here we'll need our input something here. Select our input, need to add something like text align center. That way at least you'll be center to look more cool. So at least it will be more better. So if you convert this Celsius to Fahrenheit, it's working. So that's what we need. So the next thing we need to able to reset our form. So we need to enable function to our reset. So let's come here and select our reset function. Let's close this. Now let's select this reset function. Control copy. Let's get back to our JavaScript and let's define function. So lead the function, and then this function also need it to perform some activity. So we need to reset our input whenever after we have input our value. Let's say this, we can able to reset this. Right now it's not resetting, so we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll need to select, so let's write here reset input field. So let's go ahead and do so. We select my input, we'll use the dot value, pick that value, and we'll assign that value to 0 that way. So if we save that, let's try and put some value here, and you can see we are able to reset. If we input value, we reset. Also if we type in, we can able to reset to 0, so that's cool. So the next thing we need to uncheck. Whenever we check this, we can able to uncheck. Right now is not uncheck, so we want to enable this also. So let's go ahead and do so. So let's comment here. So uncheck the radio button. So we need to able to uncheck the radio button. So we'll do that by using these two Celsius. So we'll copy this, copy, and then we'll be using it here to Celsius.check. If it is check, we'll give it a boolean value false to reset it that way, and we'll do the same for to forfeit. Just copy and do the same for that one. Dot checked, and it will be false also that way. So now we should be able to reset. So if I checked, now I can able to reset. So you can see I'm resetting. So if I checked, it's now been resetted. So if we insert data here and also we checked, these two should be reset exactly. So the last thing we want to reset this text here, and let's delete this. We forget to delete this, should not be displayed there, so it should be that way. Whenever we click a button, the text should appear. As you can see right now, if I choose that, this display. So if we reset, it should be able to reset this text. Right now it's not resetting, but we want to reset this display until we click the convert button so that it will display the result. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's clear the result. So let's clear the result, then we'll use the result. So let's copy result, using it here. Dot text content, and we'll assign this to an empty string. Assign this to an empty string that way, and then save. So right now we should be able to clear. So let's try. Let's select convert clear, select convert clear. As you can see right now it's clear. So let's do for all of them. Let's add some input. Let's select, let's convert, then let's clear. That's cool. So let's do the same. Let's input, convert, then we can clear. So that's cool. So that's the only JavaScript that we need for this. So you can see now our form is now working fine. So these are the only CSS that we needed. These are the only HTML for this project, and this is the JavaScript for this project. So our project is now been complete. So this, you can see how now our temperature conversion, how it work. So now you can convert anything from Fahrenheit to Celsius. You simply just need to select it and then convert, and you get the output. Also you can clear if you want to convert anything from Celsius to Fahrenheit. You just need to input that and then convert. You get the result. You reset. So is the what we have for today, guys. So thanks for your time. Then guys, we forgot something. Whenever I fail to insert anything and try, there's no anything. As you can see, there's no output here. We forgot to correct this one, so we'll need to go ahead and do so. So let's get back to our source code here, and we need to add an else statement here. So we'll need to add an else statement. We'll need to add an else statement. So whenever we fail to choose both conversion or checking our checkbox, we'll need to have a alternative option. So we'll need to display something to our form telling that the user that you have not selected anything. So we need to inform our user. So we just need to go ahead and display an information. So text content, and text content will display an information. Simply select unit, that way. Then we'll save this. So right now we should be able to get some reply whenever we have not do anything. So it's telling us to select unit. So we have forgot these features, so simply add it to our code. Sorry for that. So it's working. As you can see, also we are able to clear it. Select, clear. If we select both of them, all of them, let's insert this, let's select this, let's convert. Now we're able to reset all of it. As you can see, it's working. So sorry for that. So by now I think everything is okay, and thank you for that. See you in the next video. Also remember to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much.